Hi, it's Lori from Coast to Coast Craft Girls coming to you from the West Coast. Today I wanted to share a card that I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite cards I've ever made, I think. And I made this for my daughter who's expecting a baby. It'll be my first grandchild, so I'm very excited about that. And you open it up, it's a little trifold card with some pop out baby girl because she's going to have a little girl. And with this beautiful little, and I haven't put a insert on the inside yet with my message, but I will. But I just loved it, and I thought it was so fun to make. And let me show you how it's made. So first, it's a trifold card. So with that, it's 5x7. So I have a 5x7 card base. So if you don't have a 5x7 card base, this is just a sheet that's 7x10 scored at 5, and that gives you a 5x7 card base. And this one I actually did make myself, so I'm gonna grease it. And then you need another sheet, another piece of paper of cardstock that's 5.5x7, and you score at 5. And then I just trim the little edges off, the corners off. And you're gonna glue this onto here. And that makes your trifold card. Okay. Now you can glue it on this way if you want, so it doesn't show, which is what I'm going to do. So it opens this way. I'm going to glue that tab on like that, or you can glue it that way if you want, because your mats and layers are going to pretty much cover it anyway. So you can do it that way, or in fact, I think I will do it that way. No reason not to. So just open that up, put some glue on. And if you trim those little corners like that, then putting it on the inside and hiding it behind mats and layers are a lot easier. If it was just straight on the top and bottom, then it's harder to hide behind the mats and layers, because, you know, when you put your cardstock layer in, let me get my mat layer, it's going to go like this. And if that card came over to here, it would be harder to hide under there. So, okay, so there's your basic trifold card. I'm going to set that to the side for a minute and work on the front, the balloon, the little floral balloon on the front, because that's 3D glue gel and it takes a little bit to dry. And since I don't need another baby card, I'm going to make this one for, it's going to say True Love on the inside, because, you know, it's still 4 and 4, so it'll work. But I'm going to do the same thing on the front, except for I'm not going to use this little banner. So let's start with the balloon. So this is a 3-inch circle that I just cut with my circle nesting dies. And I'm going to put, I've got 4 little 1/8 inch strips that I actually cut and doubled up. So I glued 2 of them together to give it a little more sturdiness. And that's going to give me my little, I don't know, what are those called? Ropes or strings or ribbons, or I don't know, whatever you want to call it, down. And what you want to do is just you want to get it kind of in the middle. There. And you just want to glue these on kind of at a bit of an angle. Not too far. And I'm only putting these 2 on first because I'm going to put the flowers on, and I want it under the flowers. Okay, so to create my little basket, I took a piece of card this one's a little bit too big. It's 1.5 by 2. And then I just kind of cut in about, I didn't really measure it, just about that far on each side to make an angle. Just about like that. And that's my basket that's going to go underneath. And I'll show you how so get that on so that you want to cut that so that you get the little ropes or whatever you want to call it in about the right place. So just about like that. Okay. And then we're going to put flowers on. Now you can make flowers, and honestly the little Sharon Callis rolled flower dies actually work pretty well. But they're just a little bit big. These are just some flowers that I had in my stash. These ones came from Amazon. I think these came from Michael's. I just have drawers full of these little sort of paper or tiny little flowers. And to try and make flowers this small is pretty hard. So I tried, honestly. I used the little rose dies, and I tried to just use the inner dies, and it was still, I thought, too big, because this is about as small as I could get, and I don't want that many. I don't want the whole thing, done with flowers that big. I need even smaller ones. So I just picked these out of my stash, and I'm just going to glue them on with, oh, I made a mess with this, with my 3D glue gel. And this is, a number of people asked me about glue that I use. This is Kalal 3D glue gel, and it comes with these little syringes, which is really handy. Except I just refilled this one, and I got it all over. So it's all over my hands, but that's okay. And you just are going to basically fill that circle with flowers. And just kind of put them, wherever. And then before you get too much on there, I want to put my other little ropes or strips of cardstock on. And the reason I didn't put them down right away is because I want them to be a little bit high. So I use my 3D glue gel to kind of put them on just sort of like that. And then I'll attach them onto my basket, the basket when I get a chance. And I'm just going to put them and you just want it inside the other one. Okay. Now that I've got that on there, I'm just going to set that to the side and let it dry a little bit. Okay, now for my little basket, as I said, this piece of card started out at 2 inches by 1.5, so 2 by 1.5, and I just kind of cut those little angles off. Now to make my little basket weave, I've got I don't know, 8 or 9 of these little strips. And this is just white card that are cut at 1/4 inch. And then I took my Sandstorm ink pad, and I just inked the edge just with the ink pad, just like this, just to give it a little dimension. And then I'm going to take my tacky glue, and I'm going to put 3 strips down from the top, 1 down the side, and just glue the top. Don't glue it all the way down. Just glue the very top, right at the edge. Okay. It doesn't have to be perfect, just, kind of like that. And then you're going to take one of the pieces of paper and you're going to weave it over and under like that. Okay, and then I'm going to go in and put some glue underneath just to tack it down. So lift that up, put a little bit of glue right there, and a little bit of glue right there. Okay, I'll tack that down. And then we're going to do this one, and I'm going to put glue here in there, and it's going to go underneath the, and it's basically, you're just weaving, right? So just, and I didn't have them 100% touching, just kind of about like that, okay? Then we're going to put the next strip, and we just keep going. Okay, and then this one's going to go just right across the top. Not woven, just straight, literally across the top. Okay. And after you do that, you're going to flip it over and just trim along the edge of your original paper. And there's your little balloon basket. Now we're going to attach that to our balloon. And I put these outside ones on the back of the balloon. So lift these up. And put them right, and try to get it straight, right out to the edges. And I put these on the front. Just put a little dot of glue. And then I'm going to trim them off. I'm going to take my little snips and just trim them even with that top strip. Okay. And now on this one, I put a little row of roses across that top, and I really like the looks of that, so I'm going to do that on this one too. Okay, got those all in there. And I need some more. And this is what the flowers look like that I'm using. They come in these little bunches on wires. And I just have some little wire cutters and cut them off. And these just came from Amazon. I can't remember. I don't know what they're called, but they were just called, you just search for small miniatures silk flowers or something to that effect. These are bigger. I think I'm only going to need 3. Yeah, there we go. Save that one for another day. Okay, I'm going to set that to one side and let it dry. And I'll work on my card base. So I've got my card base, and I'm going to do my mats and layers first. So on the front, I took my patterned paper, and I took pieces of vellum. The front one is just under 5 by 7, and it's the same size as this mat and layer, which is just about 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. And then I took a piece of vellum the same size, and I ran it through my machine with this. This is the Crafter's Companion Rose Gold Collection 2D embossing folder, and I ran it through with that, and I did one that's 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and then 2 that are 6 3/4 by half of whatever was left of the sheet of vellum. So they're just over 3 inches, and then I ran them through my Xyron after I embossed. After I ran them through the embossing folder. And we're just going to peel that 5 by 7 piece off. decide which way it goes and line it up. And I'm going to trim that paper because I want it to be exactly the same size. And I found the Xyron or double back adhesive across the entire piece of vellum is a really good option for adhering vellum to card because you can't see it. So then I'm going to put this on there, just like that. Okay, and with the darker colored behind it, it causes that that embossed vellum to really show up nicely. This is going to go on my front. And honestly, this cardstock, it's like roses that I thought was really pretty. But now that it's on there, this is just solid pink behind. And you see the difference. You can see a little bit of the rose pattern, which is kind of pretty, but the vellum shows up better on the solid cardstock. So depending on which look you like, if you like seeing through to the cardstock in the back, or if you prefer to actually see more of the vellum pattern, I would either use a printed cardstock if you want to see the pattern through. If you don't want to see, if you really want to see more of the vellum pattern, then I would use a solid color. I think I got that upside down. Yeah. Thank goodness for wet glue. We can fix it. There we go. That's better. Now on the inside, I matted and layered just with the plain cardstock without the vellum on it first. And get it this way and that way, I think. And then I've got to make the little pop-out pieces. You need 4 strips of card, and these are 1.5 by 6, and then scored at 1.5, 3, and 4.5. And you basically just create these little cubes. Okay, and then you need to mat and layer it just 8 strips or 8 little squares of card that are just under 1.5 by 1.5. And it's easier to mat and layer these and get the letters on before you put the card together. And you want to mat and layer just the inside 2 squares of each one, because the other 2 squares are going to be glued onto the card. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my letters on. And just remember, whatever you're spelling out, if you're putting, different words on down the 2 sides, make sure you get, like, I'm going to say true love. So I want my true on this side and my love on this side. And so I need T and L because those are the first 2 letters of each. So just kind of plan it out before you end up with wrong letters on or in the wrong order. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of these. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got these all matted and layered. So you can see they say true love. I'm getting an early start on my Valentine's Day cards. Now we're just going to put our pop-up in, and then we'll decorate the front. So here we're going to start with our top one and just fold it flat like that. We're going to put some tacky glue on this section and on here, and get it in right up against that fold and right up against the top, wherever you want it, but I'm going to line it up with the top of my mat and layer. Fold that down. We're going to do the same thing with the bottom one. Always do the outside ones and then work to the middle. And you just want to wait before you open it too too far because you want that glue to grab and not. Let's see how that's working. And then we're going to put the other two in and just make sure you get them in the right order. So I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but I'm going to do them both at the same time because it's easier to get it lined up if you can do them both together. And I didn't measure. You can measure if you want, but I didn't. I just T-R-U-E. I just kind of lined them up by eye. To try and get them about the right distance apart. And I'll show you in a sec. So see, just like that. And we're going to let that dry for a minute. And then I've got my other two pieces of, I don't know if you can see that vellum on there, on my carrier sheet from my Xyron. And when you open this, just be careful that you don't pull it out. Okay. I'm going to take my vellum off, get it the right way up. And on this one, I put it against this edge on the outside. And then on this one, same thing. It's against this edge. Like that. And I'm still being careful with that glue because it's, so just gonna close it up. Oh, I have glue all over my mat. Give it a good rub. And that's your card, see, True Love. I'm not pulling it because the glue is still a little bit wet. And now we're gonna use my 3D, I'm gonna use my 3D Collal glue to put this on the front. And for this one, this little A New Arrival banner came from the Crafter's Companion, A Bundle of Joy Celebrate banner die set from the Bundle of Joy box. That's where that banner came from. And the letters on the inside, by the way, came from Crafter's Companion, the what's it called? Eclipse alphabet from the subscription box from a while ago. So that's where these letters came from. They're about 1 inch in height, which is just about perfect for that. Now we're going to take this and very carefully, because it's still kind of wet, and just place it on there where you want it, just like that. And there's your card. Isn't that beautiful? So it looks a little bit different. Just a little bit different flowers, but very similar. And like I said, this one had a solid pink behind the embossed vellum, and this one had a print. So on this one, you can see more of that embossed vellum. On this one, you can see the pattern of the paper underneath. So it's just, you know, whether you like that look or whether you like the look of the vellum more. So thanks for watching.